Unless there's something more from Ultimate Badass.
I guess. I mean, in the wise words of Simmons and the wise words of other people, yeah, I guess. That's kind of a shitty ending, too. Kind of was like a Raccoon City ending, you know?
Yeah.
Like, super abrupt and not really satisfying. We got everything. I mean, so I guess the company goes down then? Guess.
Well, I mean, if it's post Alien 3, there's nothing beyond that except Resurrection, where there is no company because they got bought by Walmart or some shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like a joke in that movie?
Yes, it was. It was a joke.
Joss Whedon, everybody.
He's like, I don't think people would actually make the film.
It's like that Penny Arcade comic where like Acclaim sent out like a survey that said, "What would you like to see in games?"
Oh.
And it's like, do some cool tricks.
So can we
look at some tits?
Yeah,
look
at some tits. And BMX Triple X.
Like the last time, I was like, I didn't think they'd make it.
Can you agree with me how fucking bummer that last boss fight was? There was like nothing to it. Like the Queen didn't do shit.
Yeah, you could have gone like totally generic and done a power loader fight.
Look at this Gearbox Quality Assurance Team. These people put their jobs through day in and day out to make sure we got a game of this caliber.
No, see, you can't blame the QA people at all because most of the time QA people will tell the developer, bug here, and they'll just reply back,
here.
Not a bug. It's a feature.
It's a feature.
That's
so
that's
what
a
I'd
gross
like to see,
exaggeration, but it happens all the time.
What I'd like to see on the back of the box is a huge myriad of bugs and glitches throughout the entire game.
Well, the whole game is about squashing bugs, really.
That'll make the experience unique and fun every single time.
I didn't think it was that bad. It just wasn't anything special.
Oh, the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, after playing through the whole thing, it's a 6 out of 10.
It's still better than RE6. It's way better than RE6. RE6 is a goddamn train wreck.
I don't know, dude.
I know you were all fucking up on that Leon campaign, but that game was terrible.
There were some parts of this game that were good, but there were some... I'd actually put them on equal ground.
To my wife, Sobia. For whose wife? Oh, Awas Amid. Should read this whole thing.
So, I'm anticipating this game is going to get 5s and 6s in most reviews.
Yeah.
It's going to get fucking slaughtered. I would personally give it a 6, and I'm a huge Aliens fan. And to be honest, if it wasn't with all the alien shit in it that I actually really enjoyed, I'd probably give it less than a 5. It's a fucking glitchy mess.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if it didn't have all the aliens lore and the characters and aliens and... It's a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, you run down corridors, you shoot shit that pops out at you.
The graphics are terrible. The graphics get like a 5 or 6 out of 10. The sound is amazing. That's the best quality about it. The music is really good. It's a great integral mix of the original score along with some retellings of it, remastering of it. But that's it. Like everything else, the environments are cool to look at sometimes, but they're never used. It essentially what this game.
Well, I don't know what you mean by use. What do you want them to do with them?
Like, just make you, for example, I don't know, like make them important in some way because they're good to look at. You can make the environments important. Like, you have to do things with the environment besides move turret from here to there. Like, that's possible. I don't know. If you gave me like fucking 5 minutes, I could probably come up with like 10 ideas that you could have possibly had done to make the game a much different experience than a fucking bad Call of Duty corridor shooter, because that's what it ends up being. A really bad Call of Duty with aliens.
I think the big problem is the fucking engine, like whether it's just Unreal or the fact that they're not good at it or what, but like it just chugged.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why it chugs so bad. Because that's the thing, like, if you're going to have, like, all these grandiose, like, effects, like, there's a reason, like, Call of Duty works and is popular.
Because
there are many reasons, but one of the things that's polishable about Call of Duty is It's just under true HD, 60 frames a second.
It looks good.
They basically like downsized it to make it have the ability to do all these crazy battles and scenes and shit going on. And when this game sometimes tries to do that, it just like makes the game like die because the engine just cannot keep up with it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's just the testament to how fucking awesome the Quake engine was. Quake 2 engine, I think it was? Quake 3 engine.
Yeah, Call of Duty is a heavily modified Quake 3 engine.
Yeah, and it looks better than this fucking game. By leaps and bounds. Like, there's some cool moments in this game that have, like, well, there's nothing going on, where it's got some cool lighting effects. But, remember those fucking bull shots from this game? Like, fucking 3-4 years ago? Looks nothing like that at all. Like, ever. I don't know. It's there's a huge list of people that worked on this game, and I am fucking appalled that this is kind of what we got.
I'm so upset.
I don't know, dude. I think I deserve to be upset that this game was probably my most anticipated game, and is completely different than what we saw run at E3 a couple years ago. And now I completely understand why they didn't show off any single player at E3 2012.
Yeah,
because it was a wreck.
Yeah, it should have been a nice big warning sign to you.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, well, they did single player the year before. Doing multiplayer, I guess, makes sense.
Well, it was weird because like it was in development forever, and then they finally came out with the E3 2011 showing.
Yeah,
which was an eyes-on only demonstration
where you get to go into a room, a big theater, and some guy plays it in front of you on like PC with an Xbox controller, and it looked fucking amazing. Like 60 frames per second. They use some areas that are in here. None of the characters are the same, but it's just a sequence that plays out, and it's actually really fucking awesome. Like, it was like, that game is going to be amazing. The way the events panned out seemed great, and that never happens in this entire
they
game.
do a very similar thing. I mean, there was that whole level where we're running from, like, the big-ass alien, and it was basically the same exact thing we saw at E3.
Kinda,
like,
but
gameplay-wise, it was just like, run in its area, shoot these aliens,
gameplay-wise,
run away.
Technically, but performance-wise, completely different. Like, everything that happened in the E3 2011 demo that we saw looked cool. It wasn't a buggy wreck, like everything we did in this game. I don't know. I think I deserve to be a little upset because it was something that could have been great, that looked to be awesome. And being a fucking huge goddamn aliens nerd like I am, and I've seen this movie more than anything compared to like Back to the Future, I'm kind of bummed that the game was an unpolished mess. And even if it just had that polish, where glitchy animations weren't everywhere, where weird-ass bugs weren't happening around every fucking corner, people weren't popping in and out of their animations left and right, guys weren't cutting off their audio cues left and fucking right, it might have been maybe an 8 out of 10. Maybe. Like, an 8 out of 10 would have made it an excusable game, but the fucking, poor combat, you don't even know if you're fucking hitting aliens when you're shooting at them.
Well, a lot of the time not. But, it still, to me, it was just well, it was a corridor first-person shooter. It's not like... See, you talk about disappointment. Now, now for me, you gotta bring me back to RE6. RE4 is, one of my favorite games. I think it's one of the best games ever made.
It's one of the best games ever made.
Then I go to RE6, and it's this corridor shooter with really shitty combat, with really boring locations, with and then when I played the review build of that game, it was way glitchier than what we played here. Only some of the glitches carried over to the final retail copy too, and it was just kind of okay, everything that was great about this game has been stripped down to this basic level of just run, shoot a guy, melee the guy, and just wait for these stupid death animations. I mean, with this game, at least it was just I could move quickly through it. I could run, shoot, even if a guy was wigging out, on the keyboard, I could blow his head off. It wasn't like I had to shoot him and then do the death melee animation and then do all this other shit,
Drake and Apone? Oh, they're downloadable characters.
DLC guys.
Yeah. It's the
fucking Drake.
Yeah, right. Vasquez doesn't make it. How? Hudson is not Hudson.
Ashley Birch was Reed. Wow, that's the chick from Hey Ash, What You Playing? She's wiggled her way into all these Gearbox games. This is what happens when your family works in it.
I don't know. I think one of the most atrocious things about this entire game is that
Peter Jessup was in this game.
one of the most important things in an Alien shooting game is that the combat and the gunplay needs to feel good, and it never felt good.
It didn't feel good, but
it's always just shoot and fucking hope they die.
Yeah. It felt honestly a lot like Call of Duty.
It felt like a really bad Call of Duty.
I guess in a way, like really brain dead. Like when we're fighting guys, like they just they just kind of stand there run at you and die. Okay, whatever.
Do you agree with me or not? Like when you're trying to shoot aliens in this game, the aliens move too fucking fast, and I don't mean like if you increase the sensitivity, you might help it. But what I mean is that like they don't have enough fucking animation. Like they just glitch all over the fucking place when they're running around. It's just like they're up and down within like 2 frames. It's like Jesus Christ, I can't aim at that. Like I'm not gonna aim at an alien moving.
Well, that becomes like
I'm not gonna hit it.
That just becomes like a real kind of like problem when you start to, boil down. Okay, do you want the aliens to be like these super really fast things like we see in the movies that like go in and out of like hop up and down walls and come up through ceilings and floors? And it's like if you want to like make that accurate, you got to make them move like that. But if at the same time there's no real way to make something look good doing that at the speed it does, because even if you loaded up with animations, it still would look so fucking fast. It would look like it was running in fast motion.
Honestly, you slow it down and you give it more health. That's it. Because you're using just as many fucking bullets trying to hit this thing that is moving at like 500 miles an hour all the fucking time than actually hitting something and seeing you hitting something.
Well, the problem was they weren't really, I didn't even think they were a threat.
Oh, the aliens are never a threat.
Like, they're whatever. Like, you shoot them, you blast them. Like, you have like... They have kill animations where, like, you stick a pistol in their mouth and blow it away, and it's, like, there's very little, like, punishment for that.
I never saw that.
Oh, I did it, like, 5 times in my game.
And my game would always glitch out where I would get an animation, my pulse rifle would be out, and then it'd glitch to the end of that, and I wouldn't see the animation.
Yeah, sometimes I get, like, these execution deaths on the aliens, and, like, I'd blow it in the chin, or I'd blow it through the mouth.
Fuck, I never saw that.
This doesn't... I mean, if you want to get nitpicky, because it's like, that's stupid. Like, you should be dead from that.
I mean, I'm not really nitpicky about that.
You should be, like, taking an acid bath if you're going to shoot an alien point blank.
I'm not nitpicky about, like, the lore itself coming into effect of your engagement with the aliens.
That's why they're not a threat, because you can kill them at point blank range and have very little consequence for it.
My biggest issue is that none of it is satisfying. Ever. Like, sometimes when you shoot an alien with a shotgun and the fucking head explodes, sometimes that feels good when it works, but sometimes the aliens just zip, 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 fucking knife everywhere, and it's just like boom, boom. Nothing's hitting it. I don't know. It's just the gunplay in this game feels like if there's an alien around, you just fucking hold down the trigger, and they'll eventually die.
Yeah.
Don't aim. Just hold down the trigger because game's running at like 20 frames a second anyway. Good fucking luck. And that's the whole point. Is that the entire I think reason this game exists is so you can be a Colonial Marine and feel badass like one and wield the weapons they do. And you don't feel badass at any point throughout this entire game. Like you weren't paying attention during the fucking battle where I had to jump into the power loader and fight the one alien guy. You were like shooting guys on the side, but I'm like, this is a fucking, this is a train wreck. Like I would grab him and then do an animation and the alien would pop like 10 feet away. I'm like, the fuck? Okay. Then you beat him down, and you keep beating him, and nothing's happening, so I gotta go to this animation, do it again, and then, like, alien would glitch inside my fucking body and go crazy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then eventually you get this weird animation where he spins the thing around, but it's not hitting him.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to cutscene. I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I won. Nothing satisfying. Like, I think that's the biggest problem with the game, is that the only satisfying moments of the game, going in the derelict ship, running around the derelict ship, not shooting things because it's kind of fucking annoying. I'm looking forward to multiplayer to see how my impressions of multiplayer are if the game actually becomes more fun. And then the other moment where you're scurrying around with no weapon, that's the best part of the game.
Yeah.
That one mission is the best part of the game.
Well, honestly, like, you talk about satisfaction and all this, I think this game was doomed to begin with when they made it just a first-person shooter. Like, when the core of the game was just being a Marine, and I'm going to be a badass and shoot aliens, that alone, I think, sealed the game's fate.
Yeah, they never did anything cool with a fucking, like, driving around an APC.
Yeah, I think this game would have benefited from a different approach. Because they have, like, at least 3 or four by my count, AVP games that are first-person shooters that have Marine campaigns where you just run and gun aliens.
The
problem is even if it was a good Call of Duty clone, to me it still wouldn't have been that interesting from a gameplay perspective.
It would have at least been like an 8.
Because, well, whatever. I mean, it's still the license of Aliens lends itself to much more creative gameplay style.
Oh yeah.
Than a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
A corridor shooter. I'm not saying it can't be first-person. I'm just saying a first-person shooter from the beginning is a bad idea.
By what you mean, like by saying first-person corridor shooter, that means that the entire game is that.
Yeah.
Like no variancy, no
you
fucking
run
turret
forward,
sequences.
you find aliens, you shoot them. It's like
no driving sequences, nothing.
If we look at, say, like the first 2 movies, what you probably should get out of that is something closer to survival horror.
Yeah.
Or adventure, or something along those lines.
We mentioned this before in our Zombie U playthrough, that maybe Zombie U with more ammo and a fucking alien setting would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, because think about it this way. Like, say, if you wanted to make an Aliens game, this is what I would do. I would set it, and during the 2 weeks on LV-426's colony, before the Marines got there.
Yeah.
And, they're all building up these barricades and stuff. And the whole point of the game is to survive, right? So you have to go around the colony. So you build up a barricade in, like, the comms room, and then, like, it basically plays out like Zombie U, where you use, like, the tunnel system to go out and find, supplies and ammo, and go find, like, armory stocks and shit.
Seems like
that.
It just fits.
And that would be really scary because, unlike zombies, you're pretty much fucked if you don't have, like, a distance weapon with an alien.
Yeah.
So, and then they're fast, and they can pop out of holes in the walls and shit. So, like, if you're gonna do an Aliens game, you should do it like that. You should not, do this, which like I said, from the start was a Doom project. I think they had some cool ideas when they talked about this game originally. They were talking about fucking, having a squadron of Marines that all have unique roles and have to do things, and it's like. All that went out the window because most of the game it's you and O'Neill.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's you and Reed and O'Neill, or you, O'Neill, and the other girl. I forgot her name already. Fuck.
No one cares. No one cares what her name is.
What was her name?
She's the most fucking forgettable character ever, so it doesn't matter what her name is.
Well, either way, like O'Neill's babe. We'll call her that.
Oh, Bella.
Bella. Like Bella, sorry. Yeah, Bella, like. You have O'Neill and Bella, and they don't do anything special. Like, O'Neill's technically like a heavy weapons guy, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, he can't die. He doesn't revive you if you die. He doesn't, like, he's not someone who can wield, like, he's a welder or whatever. It's like, everything that was, like, that they thought of as a unique role kind of just got shoved into the main character. Like, yeah, you can revive your teammates. Yeah, you can wield doors,
doors,
you can find a smart gun, some levels and go to town. But, like, yeah, that's it. Like, this whole idea of, like, having a squad-based tactical shooter just died somewhere early in development. And what you got left with was literally a corridor shooter.
Yep.
And, I'm not too disappointed with this game at all, really, just because it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I wish it was better, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I almost kind of saw where this was going, like, ahead of time. Just like, okay,
I think what bugs
it's gonna be a corridor shooter.
I don't have any problem with it being a corridor shooter. I have the biggest issue with it being a buggy, unpolished wreck.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of what offends me the most. These guys would talk about, like all these different documentaries and all this shit that I watched and read about this game, about setting up the lore and respecting aliens. And you don't fucking respect aliens by having them glitching all over the fucking place. Like, I don't know. That's what seems kind of disrespectful to me, is that you didn't even take the time after this project that had been going for so long to really have it be polished in any way at all.
Well, it's weird, too, because, like, Borderlands is glitchy, but it's more stable than this game, and it's a giant-ass open-world game.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah, but at least in Borderlands, like, the enemies have proper good animations. At least the enemies, look like enemies when you're fighting them, and you can actually understand what the fuck is going on when you're in combat in Borderlands.
Yeah.
Like, when you're hitting a guy in Borderlands because there's hit animations, there's numbers popping all over the place, and there's shit to let you know what's going on. And these are the exact same guys. When you shoot aliens, you just hope they fucking die. They eventually have blood all over them, and they fall over. Cool. I don't know.
It honestly feels like a game that kind of like whatever ideas they had to scrap and then just like quickly assemble a finished product in time.
Yeah, it really does. And it kind of bugs me that I was watching documentaries on this game being developed 2 years ago, saying how much they were preserving the aliens lore and how critical this film is, to everything. Like how everyone is like, aliens influenced us for fucking years. We've been stealing this for this movie for so much time, and now we finally get to make something out of it, and we get this. Like, fuck, dude. I don't know. I'm starting to I love Randy Pitchford and his, and his huge enthusiasm for what he does, and he makes it you really see what, he's talking about when you see it in his eyes when he talks, but when the product is delivered, it's like, what the fuck? Like, that didn't mean shit. You were just trying to sell us a shitty video game. That's what it is. This game should be $15. This game should be $15 fucking dollars. I mean, it looks, for the most part, in many areas, like a goddamn PlayStation 2 game.
Well, I don't know about that. Like, maybe the character models, sure, and
a lot of this game looks like a PS2 game.
And the textures don't
and then
load,
some parts of the game look fantastic. And then other parts look like a goddamn PS2 game. I don't know. I think my opinion is very... I think my opinion is justified that this game is a fucking train wreck 6 out of 10. And
it's the new RE6.
Yes, it absolutely is. In the age of huge disappointment titles that have been in development for a huge amount of time with a boatload of people making them, it definitely falls right in there. Ooh, let's see what they want.
Well, a lot less people made this game than RE6.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, it definitely falls in there with this. It goes in the disappointment bucket where it's like, wow, this game could have been great, but I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how the hell you play through this and say, after you've played through it and you've been working on the game for 2 years, yeah, let's put that on the disc. Let's press the discs.
You know what's weird, too, is there was a lot of shit they just didn't answer in the game, either.
Yeah, there's...
Like, why is the Sulaco over LV-426 again? I don't know. I think they said in an interview that, like, it retreated to its it was a emergency thing where, like, it went back to its last known coordinates or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of doesn't make a whole lot of sense anyways, because they didn't pilot the ship to go to LV4 or Fury 161 at the end of Aliens or at the start of Alien 3. Like, the ship just kind of drifted off that way.
Yeah.
Like, it was never meant to go there. So why would it go back to LV426
why didn't it go back before?
Or why didn't it go back to home base? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They don't explain that. They don't explain why Weyland-Yutani was on the Sulaco of all ships, why they were breeding an alien hive on the Sulaco. They don't, like...
Why would that be done on the Sulaco?
They don't
explain why the fuck Hicks is actually still alive, really.
I did there was a whole thing about, hey, he was the only surviving Marine, so he came out of cryosleep first, which would actually kind of make sense, but they don't do anything with it, and they do just kind of, leave this whole kind of, mystery, well, who's...
We saw him dead.
Who's the body?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't see the body. We just saw it wrapped up, I think. I don't know. I'd have to watch Alien 3 again.
And at the beginning of Alien 3, there's a static shot of Hicks and blood, fucking, not really his face, but is just like a body with blood fucking everywhere. And, a flowing tarp out of the wreckage, and it's Hicks, KIA, and fucking crash or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You never actually see him because Michael Biehn wasn't in the film at all. He didn't want to be in the film, and actually he was paid a ton of fucking money just to have his photo.
He was paid more for that stupid photo than he was for all of Aliens.
Yeah, which is hilarious. But no, they and what's even more funny is that during this game they have the main character ask, "Well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Who was the body? That's not important." That is the biggest fuck you I can possibly think of as a writer. Is like, oh, fuck you. Well, I wrote all this other stuff, but I'm not going to explain why that makes sense.
It's more interesting as a mystery.
Fuck you. I don't know.
Well, if you think about it, there were like the Sulaco had like all this fucking Weyland-Yutani people on the ship all of a sudden.
I'm not saying it excuses the rest of the game for being a giant fuck you already, of just like a fuck you mystery to why any of this shit is happening. I'm just saying that I was anticipating, because they're building it up, and even the main character's like, well, how the fuck does that happen? And he goes and straight says, that's not important. No, it kind of fucking is, because we've been
the company was on the Sulaco. You know, they started doing shit on there, so yeah, I guess you could assume that maybe some other guy from Weyland-Yutani was the body that got dumped on Fury 161 or whatever. But it's like, it kind of also doesn't make sense in that way either, because let's say something did happen, like, okay, Hicks came out of cryosleep first, and then there were like company goons on the ship, and then it ended up being one of them that went down in the crashed cryo tube down to Fury 1 whatever.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the company follow Ripley down to that planet to get the alien queen? Because remember, they come in, the company comes in at the very end of the movie, all freaked out
so
that, Ripley has a fucking, like, embryo in her. We need to get her real quick. And they try to, like, stop her from, you know...
So you're saying Hicks killed all the PMCs, I guess, and word finally got back. All our PMCs are dead. Let's go to that planet.
I don't know, and then like they captured Hicks somehow, and then brought him back.
But but then they capture Hicks, so it doesn't. It still makes no fucking sense.
Because like if they captured him, they probably would have gone down to Fury to pick up Ripley.
Yeah, I think that's.
And it's still kind of like, and the thing I was kind of hoping for was just to answer the age-old question of where the fuck did that alien queen facehugger come from?
Oh yeah,
at the start of Alien 3, because I thought, okay, this is going to explain it, and it kind of really doesn't.
No, it doesn't at all.
It's still a mystery.
It's still, the biggest mystery. How the hell did the alien queen lay an egg without the fucking giant egg sac?
I mean, like, all the fan theories I've always heard is that the queen is able to lay a desperation egg.
Yeah.
Like when it's separated from the hive, it can lay a single egg.
I was like
queen face hugger.
I was like 11 years old. I saw that movie and that didn't make any sense to me.
I was like, okay, maybe that's the thing, and she laid it on the drop ship, and that's how it got to them.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's still just a lot of other things, like how did it get into the cryo tube? You know, and all this other stuff. Because like Alien 3 is like a train wreck of a film.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even like I said, I was like 11 years old when I saw that movie, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. How the queen can't lay an egg, because of everything we've been led to believe from aliens that is necessary for laying an egg, and it's like, so you're just going to make something up that,
And Alien 3 ignored it completely, too. And they're just, because I remember, like, she finds Bishop's head in the wreckage or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, was there another species on the ship? And he's like, yes. And it's like,
how?
That's it.
Like, I mean, but I would, if I was Ripley, but I fucking killed it. Like, how? I fucking killed it.
Yeah, and then there was one other one that, like, you know, that got the dog. You know, and that was another thing, too, because remember when we were interviewing the writer for this game, and he was talking about how, like, he was the biggest Alien fan, and how, like, you know, he corrected me saying how, like, Alien 3 originally was going to have an ox or a goat, or it's either a cow... It was either a cow or a goat get impregnated instead of the dog.
Yeah.
Because he was, you know, telling, like, you know, it's a myth that the alien, like, embryos take on the form of their host.
Yeah.
Like, he was saying, like, that's never actually true. It's just fan speculation, because really, in reality, Alien 3 was really like this, And it's like, well, you know this, but, like, at the same time, he just kind of left these giant, wide-open plot... Not plot holes, but he just kind of, like, left these wide-open, unanswered questions in his own game, just like... How did that happen?
I think that's the... I mean, like I'm saying, I think that's the reason I feel the most, like, upset by this entire experience, is that I've listened to people actually tell me in real life that have worked on this project, and other things in interviews, and watching documentaries on this game, and all this shit, of all this stuff that they promise that they're going to respect and acknowledge and build on the lore and do something to the story that'll be awesome and different, and it'll feel great, and we get fucking... a bunch of unexplainable bullshit to make a video game. Literally, that's what it is a bunch of unexplainable bullshit so we can fight PMCs throughout the whole fucking game and have aliens randomly around. I mean, the best thing about the game was that the aliens that we ended up fighting, like the different variations of aliens, were good. Like how they had the different Alien 1 alien, the Aliens alien, they had the Hammerhead, they had the creepy guys that walked around, they had the Spitters. All these aliens are actually really well designed and thought out, and they're not crazy outside of what would be possible in aliens.
Yeah, like a gorilla alien or a snake alien.
Nothing creepy like that.
Bat alien.
All that stuff is done with respect, but they never do anything with it. Like, the aliens are kind of like a fucking side thing throughout this entire game, and the big focus is that these PMCs are everywhere.
Yeah.
To be honest, like it's not really about aliens, Colonial Marines. This game should be called Colonial Marines with aliens. Because the entire fucking point of the entire film is to go after Weyland-Yutani at the end
and
of
it's funny because how there's like just aliens randomly everywhere. There's a big alien. There's a big alien hive on the Sulaco. There's multiple alien hives on LV-426.
They cultivate everything extremely fast.
Yeah, like it kind of made sense that I liked where they were going with this idea that, hey, they were going to the bone ship and they were going to build like a research facility in front of it.
Yeah,
I liked that, and if that was like the whole, like if they revolved more of the plot around that, it kind of would have made more sense. But like it just kind of seemed like, here's a series of levels, and we're gonna just find a way to like fucking shoehorn aliens and bad dudes into it.
Yeah.
However we can.
It really is. It's like there's nothing. Aliens are in this. Like, the entire focus of Aliens, the film, is that it's a war against the goddamn aliens. Like, you're fighting these creatures to stay alive.
Yeah.
You're not really fighting these creatures to stay alive in this thing. You're trying to get to the man.
Yeah, and then, like, the other weird thing, like, when we fought, like, that big-ass alien...
Yeah.
And it cocooned us. But there was... That hive had no queen. Like, as far as we know, there was only one queen, and it was kept in contamination inside the base... inside the Weyland-Yutani base at LV-426 at the bone ship.
Yeah.
So, for all these other hives, there was really no queen, so who was laying the eggs? You know, why were the aliens still cocooning us? You know, just from the alien standpoint, what was the point of us being cocooned? And who the fuck was laying these eggs if there's no other queen and the one queen is in a glass tube, way over there on this far away side of the planet?
Yeah, the whole purpose of aliens is to bring subjects back to the hive for the queen to impregnate them.
Yeah, because that was like the whole point of aliens, was that like the colonists would be drugged back through those service tunnels, way the fuck back to the atmospheric processor. Mm-hmm. You know, they didn't cocoon people. They weren't even making a hive in the colony.
They made a hive around the queen.
Yeah, they made a hive around the queen, and everyone got brought back there. Like even when they capture Newt, or even when they take down the Marines, they cocoon them. They capture Burke, and they take him back
now they
to the hive.
Hive the derelict ship for the fuck of it. And they just hive everything for the fuck of it. It's weird how they just. They try to like I said, they try to respect the aliens' mythos and lore, and they just do whatever the fuck they want, kind of, and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, it's they almost, like I said, they plan levels about how cool it would look or sound on paper, rather than how this would honestly fit into an alien script or lore.
Or I mean, I don't even know if it's that. I honestly don't know, because. How cool it would be to go to that on paper, but they don't even think about the gameplay of it at all. Like, literally, there's nothing special about the derelict ship at all. Like, how cool would it fucking be if you had a moment where you were, like, falling through the tunnels of the derelict ship, through all these mystery corridors, and you got fucking lost and shit, and your other guys are separated from you, and you had to find each other. Fucking neat would that have been. You're alone all of a sudden, but your co-op friends are trying to find you. Like I said, I just thought of that within the last 10 seconds. And they didn't fucking think about that at all and just said, oh, shoot things, go forward. There's so much fucking shit that they could have done. I don't know. We could probably go on about this forever, and it's getting way late. And I think everyone can probably understand how disappointed we are with this game.
Yeah.
6 out of 10. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a shooter.
Yeah.
It's nothing special. It's got the only unique thing about it is that it's got co-op, and co-op's pretty much fun. You shoot things, they die, but it's nothing special.
Yeah.
Other than the setting, it's a generic corridor shooter with a nice setting.
With not much imagination at all.
Yeah, well, it's a nice setting, but like other than that, it's you move forward, you shoot
and
things.
Like I said, I would
like Doom or Serious Sam, but like
worse.
but worse.
Unpolished and buggy.
Yeah.
I would almost like to say I'd like to give the art of this game like a thumbs up, like on the goods, but I can't because everything just looks like Aliens. Like all the colors they use and all the way the corridors look, it looks great.
That's appreciative in its own right, because you can make an Aliens game, and they've made Aliens games before that don't look really anything like Aliens. Like, and you've had all the groundwork laid out for you, but like, there is some talent in making things look right.
You know what's a lot of people have been asking me, like on NeoGAF, this will probably be out way after, but a lot of people have asked this, how does it compare to the Rebellion AVP game?
The last one they made?
The last one, 2010.
I barely played it.
I did not play much of it. From what I played of the Rebellion game, that's a better game.
Yeah.
There's more variety. There's
well, that was always the nice thing about the AVP
polished
games were all about the variety. Like, you got the Predator, the Alien, the Human, and they all supposed to play very, very differently.
I'd almost be interested to fire up AVP and see how like the Marine campaign even feels in comparison to this. And I would honestly not be surprised if it's actually a lot better. Because, I mean, I can almost guarantee you, from my personal experience, that the goddamn Marine campaign in Alien vs. Predator 2 is fan-fucking-tastic, and probably the best homage to Aliens you're ever going to get. At this point.
You're talking about like
AVP2 Marine
like
campaign.
Gold? Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Because it was fucking scary.
It's fucking scary.
It was scary. Like,
and
that's kind of the point. It's an Aliens game. It should be fucking scary. And they don't make it scary when the aliens are fucking not a threat to you.
When there's 60 aliens running at you and you have to kill 3
blow them all away, not that hard.
Yeah. Alright, that's it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Our apologies if we were like snooty bastards, or at least I was throughout the majority of the game. I did leave a little disappointed. And, I don't know. I kind of prefer them not to do anything with aliens anymore if it's going to be like this from this point forward. I'd almost be like, leave the fucking movie alone. Stop it. Randy Pitchford, stop.
Maybe we should just go play like Infestation.
Yeah, on DS, right?
Yeah.
I almost be curious enough to go to like through AVP to check that out, because we love all of those films so much that it's like we should just play that game all the way through and see what it's like.
Just like a quick look.
Fuck
anyways.
it. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go play Alien vs. Predator Capcom Edition.
Oh God.
Let's go. See you guys next time.